The Chapter 3 of Carrie's War explains more about Carrie and Nick's life with Mr. Evans and his sister, as well as their experiences, fears, and adjustments during the war. At the beginning, the children realize that Mr. Evans is not actually an ogre, like Nick had imagined, but he is still a very unpleasant man. He is tall, thin, and has a loud, harsh voice. He behaves like a bully, especially towards his sister, Miss Evans' Auntie Lou, and also towards customers in his shop. He forces people to buy things they don't need and refuses to sell what they want, often using the excuse of the war. Even though he is strict and frightening, he does not openly bully Carrie and Nick much because they do not show too much fear. Carrie feels a little afraid but hides it, while Nick is surprisingly not afraid of him at all. Nick even finds it hard to take Mr. Evans seriously because of his false teeth, which click when he talks. This makes Nick think he is not truly scary. The next morning at breakfast, Mr. Evans meets the children properly. He tries to act strict and controlling, telling them to behave properly, follow rules, and not waste food. He also warns Nick not to wet the bed, which is rude and embarrassing. Nick responds boldly and tells him that it is rude to say such things. This shocks Carrie, who expects Mr. Evans to become very angry, but instead he controls himself. Mr. Evans then sets clear rules for the house: no shouting, no running upstairs, and no bad language. He also emphasizes that the house is run with religious discipline. When Nick mentions that his father is a naval captain, Mr. Evans shows a little respect, which slightly improves his attitude. After Mr. Evans leaves, Auntie Lou becomes more relaxed and talks kindly to the children. She explains that her brother has always been strict and controlling because he raised her after their father died. She describes how he treated her like a child, even punishing her in strange ways, such as making her sit on the mantelpiece as punishment. This shows that she has always been afraid of him. Carrie begins to understand that Auntie Lou is not just strict but also weak and scared, and she feels sorry for her. As time passes, Carrie learns to avoid Mr. Evans, just like the house cat does. Although he sometimes tries to act friendly by making jokes, his behavior still feels uncomfortable and strange. Carrie enjoys helping in the shop, especially measuring items and handling money. However, one day Nick steals biscuits from the shop, and Mr. Evans catches him. This leads to a very serious and frightening situation. Mr. Evans becomes extremely angry and calls Nick a thief. He threatens to punish him physically by beating him with a strap. Carrie becomes very scared because Nick has never been beaten before. She tries to protect him by begging Mr. Evans to forgive him, explaining that Nick is just a child who loves sweets and did not think properly. Nick, however, stands his ground and bravely says that if Mr. Evans hits him, he will tell his teacher. When Mr. Evans mocks him, Nick says he will say he was hungry. This statement suddenly changes the situation. Mr. Evans stops and decides not to beat him. Instead, he punishes Nick by making him pray for a long time, asking God to forgive his sin. After this incident, Nick feels proud because he believes he successfully stopped the punishment. He explains that adults do not like being seen as cruel by others. However, Carrie feels worried. She thinks Nick has made Mr. Evans his enemy, which could cause more trouble in the future. She also scolds Nick for lying about being hungry and for stealing, but Nick argues that Mr. Evans is truly a bad person. Nick even reveals that Mr. Evans once pretended to sleep on a bed just to blame Auntie Lou unfairly. This shows that Mr. Evans is dishonest and cruel, not just strict. Carrie begins to think about telling someone about their situation, but she realizes it is difficult. Their parents are far away, and there are not enough homes for evacuated children. She feels trapped and unable to change their situation. Meanwhile, life continues, and the children slowly get used to their new environment. They go to school, follow routines, and live with the strict rules of the house. Nick attends a primary school, while Carrie studies in a chapel with other older children. Carrie finds this different but somewhat interesting compared to her old school in London. The story also describes their family situation. Their father is away at sea, working as a naval officer, and their mother is living in Glasgow and working as an ambulance driver during the air raids of World War II. She writes letters to them, sends them gifts like socks and sweets, and tries to stay positive, even though her life is difficult. However, Carrie feels that their mother does not truly belong in their new life, and everything about their old home now feels distant, almost like a dream. As time passes, the seasons change from summer to winter. Life becomes colder and harder. The house is very cold, especially their bedroom, and they suffer from chilblains, painful swelling in fingers and toes caused by cold. The only warm place is the kitchen. In December, their mother comes to visit them after a long journey. The children are happy to see her but also feel shy and uncomfortable because she seems different, with shorter hair and a new life. During lunch, Mr. Evans behaves politely and even generously, offering good food and acting friendly. This surprises the children, especially Nick. Auntie Lou remains quiet and nervous, as always. When it is time to say goodbye, Auntie Lou tells their mother that she is trying her best to take care of the children. Their mother thanks her warmly. As the children walk with their mother to the station, she asks gentle questions about their life. Carrie tries to hide the truth and says everything is fine. She is especially afraid that Nick might say something negative and upset their mother. She does not want to hurt Auntie Lou's feelings. Nick finally speaks, but instead of complaining, he only mentions a small issue that Mr. Evans sometimes cheats when counting saccharine tablets. Carrie quickly explains it as a simple mistake. Their mother laughs and feels relieved that nothing serious is wrong. She continues to believe that the children are happy and safe. At the station, just before leaving, their mother becomes emotional and asks if they are truly happy. Carrie feels terrified that Nick might tell the truth. However, Nick surprises her by smiling sweetly and saying that he loves living there and thinks Auntie Lou is very kind. This shows that despite everything, Nick cares about Auntie Lou and does not want to hurt her. Overall, this chapter shows the children's adjustment to a difficult life during the war. It highlights Mr. Evans's harsh and controlling nature, Auntie Lou's kindness but weakness, Nick's bravery and honesty, and Carrie's sense of responsibility and emotional struggle. It also shows themes of fear, family separation, growing up, and learning to cope with difficult situations while protecting the feelings of others.